Brian, stop the tape.
Okay, Mike. Oh, wait. Rewind that scene, please.
Rewind that scene.
Rewind that scene.
Rewind it.
Rewind that scene. Rewind that scene.
I'm Mike Rizzo,
And I'm Brian Bonds.
and this is Rewind That Scene podcast by Bobo, Touch, Mike, and Brian, or, like I say, Baby Bond.
Thanks for listening. And welcome back to the show if you've been listening in the past, and thanks again if not.
Yeah, and thank you guys. This is a very special episode, Gleaming the Cube. Right,
Yes.
Bonds?
Yeah, a very rare movie. There's a few 80s films. I think this one was even hard to get on VHS
yes.
and DVD for years.
Yep. Well, I love it because all of us were skateboarders, right? All of us in
Yes.
Bay Ridge Towers growing up. Christian Slater, Richard Hurd. I mean, This is
Amazing.
like a great cast, great idea. It's about conspiracy, uncovering shady shit in the government, right?
Yeah.
Corporations.
Yeah, really that good, fight against the conspiracy, shady shit 80s vibe. And I mean, dude, the opening up sequence is amazing.
Oh my God, with the airport when they're skateboarding in the airport.
Yeah, imagine writing that in the script. It's like, this movie needs a fucking skateboarding opening up action sequence.
Dude, I also love like the friend of Christian Slater when he goes into the bunker and the guy's on the little mini half pipe talking to him, just skating the whole time, like back and forth.
Man, what a time, man. And this is one of, I think, the early Christian Slater movies, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and we can't forget Tony Hawk, dude.
Yep.
This is early,
Vintage Tony.
young, vintage Tony.
Vintage Tony.
Yeah, I mean, we were all obsessed with vintage Tony.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes, and I got to know your favorite scene, Baby Bond, is the reveal at the end when he gathers the whole skate crew, and it's the reveal through the hill. And then,
Yes.
like the limited sighting, and then you see Tony Hawk, and it reveals to his face with the Pizza Hut truck, and he's like, has that sick smirk.
Wow, man. One of the
Love
biggest, commercial product placements, too. It's sick.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think that one is great. I mean, even the beginning of the film too, when they're you're getting the real kind of family life going on.
Oh, that's true.
And that bond too. But
love that.
I mean that you're right there. That is one of the best climax parts of the scene is the end. And I don't it's like so crazy because Tony Hawk's career has been so successful even then and even now to today with the games and such a mentor.
Yeah, he was a mentor to all of us, especially Denny Moy.
That's true. We know you're listening, Denny.
Yeah.
Props to Denny. Shout out to Denny.
You're talking about family vibes. The whole story is Christian Slater's brother, who's adopted, right? Vihn Kelly,
Yes,
played
Vihn
by
Kelly.
Art Chudabala,
Oh,
who's on the
yes.
show today. I don't know. It's just a really sad. He uncovers some shady shit, and they think he committed suicide, but in reality they killed him, the crew.
Exactly.
And again,
Exactly.
bad guys, because he's uncovering stuff, so they kill him. And
Yes.
then Christian Slater's out to find out the truth.
Get the revenge.
Right.
Nobody messes with my brother.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah.
It's really, it's like there's justice in, fighting the system and weird, crazy corporation stuff, but
Yes.
there's also a true family revenge here,
Of course.
What a interesting dynamic too in the beginning of the film, and I really thought it was a great beginning family piece that
Yes.
kind of erupts into some insane skateboarding shit.
Yes, exactly. And I love all all the tricks and all the freestyle and board tricks. Like, it's so good, right?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes me feel like just going on my board right now and doing kickflips.
Yeah. Also, like, I had a weird skateboarding stance, remember? Like, my ass was always out.
Yeah,
I was never too fluid. So watching
Yeah.
this, I got really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to the doctor and he was like, "Son, your ass is sticking out, and we're gonna do the X-rays of your tailbone. Here's a copy of Gleaming the Cube on VHS."
And it was also like you knew the people who were cool. If you mentioned Gleaming the Cube and they freaked out and they loved it, you knew they were good people.
That's
that
true.
They aligned with our movie taste,
Yeah.
All right, so should we bring them on?
Yeah, let's bring on Art, brother.
Art Chudabala!
Cheers. Nice
Yes.
to meet
All
new
right.
friends.
Big fan of you, and overall, glad that we're connecting, and also that we're all fellow parents too.
Yes, we are.
I'm going to take a drink to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's literally, parenthood, fatherhood, it's literally what everybody has ever said. It's the hardest, most rewarding thing ever. And it's
Yeah.
so true. It's like, I didn't realize how shitty of a human I am until I had kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm a horrible, horrible human.
Yeah,
I've got
there's
zero
definitely this,
patience.
like, I think about what I'd be doing all the time. My wife and I talk about this. If we didn't have kids, we'd probably be waking up at 11 a.m., going to brunch, hitting the Bloody Mary,
Yep.
going on trips. And it's really this whole thing where you become this consistent snack maker.
It's true. It's like one of my favorite words, and one of the words that I hate the most is daddy. Because I can't tell you how many times it's like, and then I get in stereo because because of the kids, right? So it's like, daddy, 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 and just like, ah.
Yes. And back to go back in time and really go through when you were a child and starting out and your interests. What was your journey getting involved with acting and in that path for you, whether if you were on the stage or in front of cameras or modeling? You were like, I'm going to do this more.
I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate that. The chiseled jawline and all. Yeah, I'm not that guy, unfortunately. Like, this was a giant accident for me. I mean, it goes back to, like, 5th grade.
Fifth grade, yes.
Yeah, 5th grade. How I got into it was really, we were doing, school play. It was the Christmas Carol, and I had this really great teacher. Her name was Mrs. Stockman. She had all these war stories because she was a child of World War II, right? Anyway, she was presenting, wanted the class to do a play, and we were doing Christmas Carol, and nobody could seem to get the part of Scrooge down. And I was getting frustrated in the back of the class going, oh my God, I'll do it. I'll just do it. So I kind of just took the play and memorized everything overnight, and we came back the next day, and I just went for it. That turned into rehearsals, and then we put on the play, and I remember going to the park to go study old people, and I was into monster makeup at this time, by the way.
Yes.
I was like
best.
doing like
Monster
werewolf.
makeup.
Oh, I love monster makeup.
Yeah.
I was a big like Lon Chaney fan and all that, and so I learned how to do like cut hair off wigs and made myself a werewolf, Caro syrup, the whole 9 yards, right? I find myself at a park kind of studying old people, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's how that guy would walk and this and that, and I put a bunch of talcum powder in my hair to age me, and I took all that in to the play, and so I was being Scrooge, old man and all this, kind of just became the class star at the time.
Yes.
Nice.
I remember that moment because Mrs. Stockman, God rest her soul, I hope she's still with us, I'm not sure. She had recognized something to me that I didn't even recognize myself, right? Fast forward to 1985 or 6, and at this time I had discovered marijuana and rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I was singing in a rock band, I was in a full-on, I was full-on into this, hair metal band. And we were playing out in the Sunset Strip and blah, blah, blah and all that. And that was kind of my thing, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a rock star. That's what I want to do. And along the way, my mom had met this lady whose daughter was in the business. We got invited to some parties and whoop-de-whoop. And my sister had met an agent, and my mom had pitched me like, hey, I got this son. He can do this stuff too.
Yes.
Now, mind you, I got long hair. I'm into glitter and spandex at the time, right? And I go in to meet this agent. I remember it being a Oscar Mayer Wiener commercial. And I think I did well because she signed me on the spot.
Great.
And I was like, okay. So they sent us out to get some headshots. And now, mind you, I wasn't totally into like being an actor. I wanted to go play in bands.
Yeah.
This agent, Stacy Lane, sent me out on my first audition, and it ended up being Gleaming the Cube, which I ended up getting.
Man. That is fucking fantastic.
And it's completely like, wasn't even on my radar, and I wasn't even in SAG-AFTRA or anything. They had to do this thing at the time called Taft-Hartley, which is basically just, okay, he's the guy, we're casting this person, so we're just going to put him in the union. And so that's how it came about. It was a complete fluke, an accident, but probably now looking back on it, definitely a calling.
Yeah.
I, for some reason, was meant to do this, so here I am. The thing is, like, my first audition, I freaking get this movie, right? And now, mind you, I don't know anything about the business. I don't even know how to be on set. I don't know anything. I wasn't even really an actor. Like I remember the first day on set, they're like, okay, hit that mark and then turn here and doing all this blocking stuff. And I was like, I mean, I literally had to learn on the fly. And so, did the movie, and it was humbling because like I really, after the movie, I was just went back to being in a band and was gigging for 5 years, playing on the Sunset Strip and doing all this stuff, and was
That's
not
amazing.
wanting to be an actor. Eventually, it kind of called me back, and I ended up, after a few years, got back into it, and then I kind of had to start from scratch again.
Yeah.
And was not booking the auditions that I was getting. And it was like, oh, wait a minute, this is really humbling. Like, the first gig I get is like this major motion picture, right?
Amazing.
Years later, I'm like, oh, I can't get a job to save my life. Maybe I need to adjust this. And what am I doing? You know what I mean?
What about skateboarding? Were you into skateboarding at the time at all? Or?
You know what? I was a
Yeah.
closet skateboarder.
Yeah.
It was interesting because I was like, damn, I want to do some of that. But,
Yeah.
I remember meeting Tony Hawk, and I kind of geeked out because I was like, holy shit, that's Tony. 86, 87, like he's already huge at this time.
Yeah.
He's like blown up. And so, because he had this like really cool just presence. He would just come in and everyone was just, oh, Tony Hawk, oh shit. And then, the Bones Brigade's there, and I'm just like, oh my God, how the hell did I wind up here?
My God. And also, like, you have some, like, such great, like, not only, like, are you, like, the whole reason of the story, and Brian and I were really sad that, you die in the first 20 minutes. That was tragic. And the way you died was really sad. What was it like filming that scene with the dudes, strangling you and the bad bosses?
Yeah, I recall, like, it being one of the first scenes that I shot. And Peter Kwong, who he was the first Asian actor that I had ever met. He played Rain in Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, yes.
And he's the guy that chokes me out. And I remember that being one of the very first scenes that that I shot on the movie. And it was like, damn, that.
Holy shit!
This is what's funny.
That's fucking intense.
I remember like sitting there with Peter
shit.
and Richard Hurd in the motel there, and I remember we were going through rehearsals and all that, and Richard Hurd like laid one on me, like straight up, because he slaps me in the scene. And I was,
my God.
That's insane.
To really show you what's up.
yeah, I was like, oh shit, oh, this is like for real. These guys aren't. Acting's like real,
Yeah, definitely.
I was like, oh shit, I gotta dig in here. So, and I remember shooting that thing, for a good half day, almost a full day, just getting slapped.
Oh my God.
And he kept, he's such a gentleman. He was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's dig in, It was a real eye-opener to kind of watch actors working. I mean, obviously, it was my first job, but it was my film school right away. So I ended up kind of getting pointers from all the other actors, and they're giving me a lot of love as far as like, hey, they could tell that I was green, So a lot of these veteran guys were just kind of showing me the ropes a little bit, and so I've had a lot of those lessons. Peter and I are still friends to this day.
Nice.
Not to backtrack too, like that initial scene when you're with Slater, you're chilling, you tell him you just got fired. It's like almost like this whole family in this house. What was that like?
I look back on that time, and really, I actually enjoyed the casting process, mainly because it was probably my first one. What I loved so much about the casting process for Gleaming the Cube was that I really got to know the casting director, like on a personal level. Her name was Elizabeth Lustig, God rest her soul. And I remember the first time getting together with Graham Clifford, the director, and what was great about the casting process, which I don't know if it happens anymore unless you're like really A-level, is we got to talk as people and really connect as far as like what my human experience was at the time and where he was coming from. And this particular process for me was magical because it was definitely my first one, but it's old school too. A lot of conversations just about family, about life, how I saw the part. I remember having a conversation with him about, yeah, this guy is me. I live a very similar life. And what's crazy, the segue of this is that a lot of the scenes that were shot were right in the valley. And at the time I was living in the San Fernando Valley in an area called Northridge, and a lot of the movie was actually shot near there.
Nice.
Like literally right around the corner from my house.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really trippy. I look back on it and it was like, wow, it's a bit of a mini doc. For me anyway, I look at it like a moment in time in my own life. Like I remember the street. Like, oh, I remember that's Rinaldi and that's this and that. I mean, the end scene where Christian goes through the window at the end, he saves the girl. That's literally shot around the corner from my house. At the time, the house I grew up in.
Yeah, so it feels like super personal to you, right? The nostalgia is real for you.
It's really interesting because like through the years, I get requests for autographs and this and that from around the world. And for me, as Art Chudabala, just living my life, it's like my first tattoo. This movie I did 30 years ago, and it's a trip that people have held it in as a marker of time in their life. It's like a good song. It never really goes away.
I run a whole Vihn Kelly spin-off movie where we're all dads going out in LA having beers. So we're hoping you sign on to that movie when we're ready to make it.
Let's do it. I'm down. The ghost of Vihn Kelly.
I feel like in our group, we had a lot of like, when you're talking about rock bands, we had a few different bands throughout our years, and we're all skateboarders. For diehard Gleaming the Cube fans, are there any like stories on set or things that you would love to share with the fans?
The opening sequence is great. There's so much energy, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, at John Wayne Airport when they're doing the whole...
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, I was there for a lot of it. I wasn't on screen, obviously. I wasn't working, but just to watch them do it. At the time, I knew who Stacy Peralta was, and he was the second unit director on this thing. And so I was geeking out watching these guys. And I remember Mike McGill coming up with the McTwist. Like, these guys came up with certain things for the movie.
Yeah.
And I look back and go, wow, I was super lucky to be like a fly on the wall just watching these guys. And I'll tell you, one dope thing was this. Like, I was under 18, so I had to have my mom there. And she was there, and then I had to go to school, and everybody else, like the Bones Brigade, and everybody else was like over 18. I had this like kind of vibe to me at the time because I just wanted to hang out. But I had to go to school on set. My mom was around. And these guys just took over the lots. We were at Sony shooting a lot of this stuff, and these guys were just terrorizing the lot, skateboard all over the place, and
wow.
That was really cool. One really cool story that I could share is I remember this was like 85, 86, right, when we did this. So Michael J. Fox had blown up already. You guys are probably of a certain vintage, so you might remember these Pepsi commercials with Jamie Gertz that he did, that Michael J. Fox did. I remember this one day, Christian and I were shooting hoops, just in between takes, and this limousine pulls in into Culver Studios. And I remember Christian, like, he's about to take a shot and just drops the ball, watches this limousine come in. And I'm like, bro, it's your turn. Like, we got a game going, right? Yeah. And I remember him turning to me going, that needs to be me. I'm going to be that. And I'm like, Michael J. Fox?
Whoa.
And I was like, I remember telling him, that will be you. Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's so cool.
I remember that moment to this day because I was like, he wanted it. You know what I mean? And he got it.
Were you there for any of the epic, obviously there's a lot of those scenes, like you said, going through the window and under the truck. And of course the Tony Hawk reveal with the Pizza Hut truck is just glorious. Were you there for so cool. Like,
I wasn't
the way they
there
come
for
up the
all
hill.
of it. I was there for the opening.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people know, but Christian was not a skater at all.
How was that for him? And like, do you remember any of that stuff, like the learning process? Did you have like a skateboarding coach, almost like Tony Hawk?
Yeah,
teaching him, mentoring
he had
him?
the Bones Brigade and Stacy Peralta of all things, right? It's like cream of the crop.
Right.
I remember him just, he just morphed as the movie went on. He got better at it, and he was then just kind of walking around with a skateboard and really kind of took to it.
He just like owned it, yeah.
Yeah, he owned it and just really, really loved the spirit of it all. And I remember him like kind of like not really digging it at first, but then it really kind of just became, I think, just part of his process, really.
Yeah.
To get the character down, you know what I mean?
Also, like, I feel like when we, like, obviously, like, you look back at it now and you're like, oh my God, it's so 80s. But when we first saw this, we were just like blown away by like all the freestyling tricks, you know what I mean? Like, just like the crazy, like, little nuancing of the board, like, just so cool.
Yeah,
You haven't seen
it's
anything
really
like
interesting
that.
to see what skateboarding has become.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so like such a cultural thing now, and this was a time when you weren't allowed to skateboard on the sidewalks. Like you just weren't allowed to skateboard.
They just reopened the Brooklyn Banks in New York. They reopened
Yeah.
it for like a skate spot. So it's definitely like they have like a lot more parks and things
It was
made
frowned
for it. It's
upon
beautiful.
back in the day, man.
It's a trip to think that like there was a time when skateboarding was kind of illegal.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's like I think about that too. I'm like, these are people just trying, like, they're not even doing graffiti, which, I love too, but, that's a whole other thing. But when it comes to skateboarding, it's like people are just having a good time.
Yeah, it's
exercise.
good fun. We grew up in a 30-story building, and we were like skateboard in the back, and like the old ladies would like throw shit at us, like "Stop skateboarding!" Like,
And here's a jar of marinara sauce right off the 24th floor.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we almost died
Yeah.
skateboarding. So
But it seems like this film obviously had such a big cultural shift and big fan base, I feel. And you've also then, like you said earlier, like you kind of went on to other projects and you're still kind of in the industry, right? In a really big, impactful way from, production too.
you're an editor, right?
Yes, I am an editor. I found myself gravitating towards the camera guys. And so like when I was, whatever show I'd get on or whatever TV show I was doing, I'd always kind of geek out with the camera guys and the sound guys and this and that, and kind of, study what they were doing, and then studying camera angles, why would they frame something a certain way, and, that sort of thing, and really got into cinema and kind of fell in love with that side of the process. As an actor, you're always constantly, at least back in the day, you had to always constantly update your demo reel, for the next job or the next interview or what have you.
Yeah.
And I used to go to editors, and I could never really get what I wanted. So I decided, damn it, I'm just going to learn computers. I'm just going to learn it, and I'm just going to do it my damn self.
Damn right.
And because a lot of it is also stems from my music background, because I've always been a bit of a gearhead. And
Love
after
that.
Gleaming the Cube, I went to sound engineering school because I wanted to track bands,
Nice.
become a recording engineer.
Oh, great.
Metallica, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up.
Exactly.
And so I did that, and then that kind of just was a natural thing for me when I got into movies. And I always like to kind of get into how do you make things, and
Yeah, that's us too.
and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with storytelling. I fell in love with editing, and I'm a self-taught editor. I started a small business in my bedroom, cutting other people's demo reels.
That's
on
awesome.
VHS,
Yeah.
SVHS, with the full, and then the 3/4 machines, the whole 9 yards. Every time I get a gig, I'd buy a piece of gear. Yeah,
Yeah, can you digitize my baptism?
yeah, and I mean, literally, dude, I've done people's weddings. All of it.
That was like
Or
our
my
path.
cousin.
I know my
Yeah.
cousin Vittorio really needs it. Art.
Well, what's honestly one of the very first things I ever cut was a skateboard event.
Yes. That's perfect. That's a perfect segue right out of the
why
cube.
not, man?
No better than Vihn Kelly.
Yeah. I love movies and just fell in love with it. Made a couple of short films, wrote a couple of features, and, just going on and on. Just keep doing it. I got
Nice.
kind of qualified not to do anything else, so.
Anything the fellow fans and movie lovers can look out for? Maybe a project that you're working on, or
I'm just still auditioning. The industry's kind of in flux at the moment, obviously. All the actors are on strike, and the WGA's on strike, and
yeah.
AI is about to take over the world.
We're all good. We're all fucking
oh
done.
my God.
Ah.
But no, I guess the latest thing is I wrote a feature film with a buddy. It's called Dead Town. I'd say it's a cross between No Country for Old Men meets Sicario.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
I'm putting together a bit of a cast where I'd like to direct it. Fingers crossed.
Beautiful.
We'll see. All you can do is try.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's right. It's all you can do.
Like you guys, I was watching your stuff. And I
Oh,
was like,
yeah?
all right, these guys, look at these guys.
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
the
man, we keep
subway
putting
and
out
all that
these little
stuff.
gems.
We like doing
Yeah,
trippy,
just
weird
having-
shit. Yeah.
It's awesome. Wait, I got some
Hold on, he's got
I got some
something coming,
memorabilia for you as well.
yeah, let's
so
see.
this I
man.
pulled
Oh
out.
shit!
What?
An old school classic right here. Look, you guys. Look, you guys already
Wow,
posed.
look at that.
Yeah, from Graham Clifford. Look, it's all dusty and everything.
Yeah.
Love
Look,
that,
there's
man.
Bobo and Touch.
Thank you, Art. You the man. Vihn
Whoa.
Kelly, baby. Vihn
That
Kelly.
was great, man. What, dude?
Ah.
What a nice guy, fellow
Yeah.
parent, and
I love
also
the dad
fellow
vibes.
editor.
And an
I mean,
editor
come
like
on.
me, fellow
Yes.
editor. Editors
Yes, and
can
what a-
unite.
beautiful to enjoy a drink with him and our brunch vibes. And,
No, I didn't have a
it's
drink
really,
though, man. You guys, you left me out without the drink. I didn't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, I put
Yeah.
a note, post-it note on a skateboard, and I guess it didn't. The note didn't make it to Rizzo's house.
The one day
Well,
I'm
we'll
not
get
drinking.
you one. We're gonna get you one, though, Rizzo. Don't worry. We're gonna
Okay.
send one over there on one of those electric longboards,
Or what about a fingerboard?
fingerboard. Major props to the fingerboard community too.
Yeah.
We don't want to shut you out on this
Exactly.
one.
No, we're open to all boards, all
Yeah.
types of boards.
What a great guy, though.
Yes,
Art,
thank you,
and
Art, for being on. And
I
if you
love
guys
that
haven't,
story,
yeah, if you guys
too,
haven't
about
watched
him and-
Gleaming the Cube, please go back. I don't know, I'm not sure where it's available, but I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. It's definitely a little hard to find. But we love this movie. Right? Let's throw a screening of this movie somewhere.
Yeah,
Like in
yeah.
Sunset Park or something. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. More people need to see it.
Yes.
It's one that a lot of people haven't seen. And it's like I said, it's vintage Slater, vintage Tony.
Yeah, no, Vihn Kelly.
Yeah, you know it. Even just hearing that whole experience about what it was like to film on the set, and
Yeah,
and
I love those
and
stories.
also play basketball with Christian Slater. I mean, really,
Yeah.
these are true 80s
And-
dreams. 80s
And
dreams,
how he
you know.
literally
I
saw
wish we
that
could live in
limo and
these
was like, I
moments.
want to be that, and he became that. Like it's he really, like he said, he really wanted that, like, to be a
It's true.
superstar. Yeah.
It's true. He became a bigger Slater than he is. than he was.
Bigger Slater.
Bigger Slater.
But yeah, he's great. I also love that one part too. I was just thinking about like how like he's like such like a punk rock skater, but then he like finally cleans up, right? And he wears the suit,
Yeah.
and he's like going to school, and everyone's like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
He's nice and primo.
Yeah, he's a nice and primo. That's really funny. I like there's some good moments like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Well,
man.
yeah, check us out online, guys. Thank you for listening. We had such a blast this episode. Follow us on all the social channels at Bobo Touch.
Bobo Touch.
We have a web series. We do sketches.
Yeah.
Lots of fun stuff brewing. We're working on a movie.
Yeah,
So,
we got a
yeah.
lot of exciting things in the works as we
Yep.
go throughout Hollywood and learn about the past. This has been a fun experience. So
Yeah.
we got a lot of things cooking up, and also you can always reach out to us if you need advice or have questions.
Yeah.
Or if you want to see us do something interesting and personal together.
Yeah, and
let
if you
us
also if
know.
you want to like ever talk about skateboarding or maybe like do some pop
Yes.
shovets with me. Yeah.
Yeah, pop shovets.
Yeah. Brian doesn't know what that is. But
I don't know anything.
but thank you guys, and definitely stay tuned for the next episode. We love you. Thank you for listening.
We appreciate you. Have a great day.
Yeah, go watch this movie. Bye.
Bye.